consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. From previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture.
Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the SteelTwins.
Steeler Nation, what is going on? Thank you guys for tuning in for yet another edition of the Steeler Culture Podcast, where we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football. This episode is powered by our great friends over at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, and we are here a little bit earlier than usual for a game day preview, but nonetheless, the Steelers are on a short week and on the road for their next matchup, a second straight AFC North opponent, going up against the 2-8, just god-awful Cleveland Browns. I just had to throw it in there.
Yeah, that's putting it kindly. I hate
Is
short...
it?
To me, yeah. You can say a lot worse. We can say a lot worse. We will not, or maybe we will. I hate short weeks. I despise them. I'm just not a fan of them. I think it's unfair to the players. They don't get any rest days, and I think it's a higher risk of injury. And frankly, I just find Thursday Night Football for the most part to be a bore fest. But in terms of the Steelers, obviously they're gonna have my full 100% interest and intrigue. But overall, I'm not a fan of short weeks, but here we are. We got the Steelers versus the Browns on Thursday night. The only Thursday Night Football game the Steelers got this season, man.
Yeah, thankfully.
Thankfully. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is our last primetime matchup currently on the schedule with things to be changed.
Yeah, I mean, some games could be flex, they could be changed and whatnot. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that were to be the case with how the season could transpire. But yeah, I believe you're correct on that.
Yes. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the schedule goes. But we got the Browns, man. This is our second straight AFC North divisional matchup. The second of what is four to come. So, yeah, we got the Browns. What more can we say about the Browns that everyone hasn't said about the Browns already? They're the Browns. They're 2-8.
They are not a good football team.
In fact, I should have brought out the old school classic vintage Browns are the Browns t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I think I still got it.
Yeah.
I will be bringing that out for Thursday.
Such a classic, though. But, I mean, like, the Browns, I mean, it's weird because last year, just like this year, they're just riddled with injuries and just, you know, the injury bug has bit them badly this year. I'll give them that. But even last year, they showed a ton of resiliency and determination. They went 11-6. We're second in the division and made it to the wild card. Though they got blown out.
Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year for a second time.
And now, same thing's happening with the injury bug, like I stated. but they're not resilient. They're just bad. They are just that bad.
They are bad. They don't have any depth whatsoever.
They don't have Joe Flacco.
Their OC change has hurt them. And you're right, they don't have any quarterback.
No.
They don't have any sense of a quarterback.
They have better quarterback play, but they're still losing.
It's honestly fitting to see exactly where they should be, which is at the basement of the AFC North. It's exactly where they belong. I'm just going to be 100% with you guys.
It's like old times.
It's just like old times. It kind of feels good, man. The Steelers are on top and the Browns are on the bottom. Now, at the same time, don't sleep on the Browns.
Yeah, because people have been talking about this game, about this potentially being a trap game. Is this another one of those trap games coming up? Because the Browns, they're 2-8. They have lost 2 straight, both of them in blowout fashion. While the Steelers are on a 5-game win streak, a ton of momentum on their side, first place in AFC North. Is this a typical trap game for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up?
I mean, a lot of people could say so. I mean, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss a lot about the Browns and the Steelers. There's not much to say, but we'll be able to make some interesting discussion. So we want to thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Steeler Culture Podcast, where we preview the Steelers versus Browns Thursday Night Football Week 12 matchup. Thank you guys for joining us on this Tuesday night. Again, an earlier preview than usual, but that's because we're on a short week, obviously.
It is what it is.
So thank you guys for joining us, man. There's a poll in the chat for you guys. The age-old question. Who's better, TJ Watt or Myles Garrett?
And so far, 100% says TJ Watt.
No lies detected.
Nope, none.
No lies detected.
And it appears that this Watt and Garrett debate is this generation's Polamalu and Reed, if you think about it.
Sure. I would, yeah, that's fair.
You know?
That's fair. I just don't think it's as close.
It's definitely not as close. No, it's not.
It's not as close.
No, but it's pretty similar with, 2 great defensive players, at their positions and whatnot. Though it's different positions that they're playing and whatnot, but
Well, it's also different schemes and everything, but
very true.
regardless, yeah, there's a poll, so if you guys want to get you guys' votes in, feel free to do that. TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, who do you guys think is better? We'll talk about that as well, but first we want to thank you guys for joining us, and huge shout out to the sponsor of this live stream. Shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring with us this NFL season as we take a look at the Week 12 odds for all of the Week 12 matchups. They already got all the Week 12 odds. Things to change throughout the week, obviously, but they already have the early odds for the Steelers and the Browns game on Thursday night. The Steelers are indeed the favorites, and they are 4-point favorites, and the over-under is 36. Now, I don't know about you guys. I'm taking the under. If you have paid attention to the weather, it's going to get ugly.
Is it? I actually have not looked at the weather.
We'll talk about it, but it's apparently going to be wet, and it's going to be very ugly and windy. So, I don't know about you guys. I would definitely highly suggest taking the under. I'm going to take the under here, and I'm going to take the Steelers' money line. I think that's, I don't want to say it's a lock, but I feel very confident in doing that, man. So, we're going to combine that into a parlay. And let's put, I don't know, let's put like 25 on it. We can win $47.20. We're going to place that and confirm. If you guys want to tail this, feel free to do so at betus.com. Take advantage of all of the Week 12 props that they already have, including this Thursday night's game, plus their prop builder that they just added where you can add touchdowns and over-unders for certain yardage. And I know there's going to be some of them that are pretty low for you guys in regards to this game. So look ahead and look into that for sure. While doing so, take advantage of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000, 125% on your next 2 deposits when you use the promo code YouTube150 when signing up at betus.com today. Take advantage of those great perks, plus the fastest payout in the industry, fast and easy deposit withdrawal process, and 24/7 personalized service every single day. All from our great friends over at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Huge shout out to them for sponsoring with us on this live stream. Just please gamble responsibly.
And huge shout out in the chat to Unger to the Max as he says, "What's up, Twins? You guys are going to beat us on Thursday Night Football."
Wow.
I hope so, bro. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so too, but that's just an honest opinion from a real honest Browns fan. So shout out to you.
Very honest one, yeah.
Shout out to you, man. I know that we were talking about trying to get a collab going again this week. It's just, unfortunately, our schedules don't clash well.
No, they don't.
In fact, they clash against each other. We'll see if we can find some time tomorrow or perhaps Thursday. We'll keep you updated on that. But I want to give a shout out to you, man, because you've been a very honorable, respectable, and truthful Browns fan, man. There's not many out there. Especially on the platform. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Loose Cannon as well. He's another cool Browns fan we've become real close with online, man. He was a fan of the podcast, and then You know, he reached out to us wanting to send us something. And every Christmas, man, we do Christmas gift exchanges. And obviously that's coming up, so we got to come into line and thinking of what to get him this year. So shout out to him, man. I want to definitely give a shout to those two Browns for me.
Indeed, brother.
So shout out to you guys. Seriously, man. The Browns. Where do you want to start?
Well, I think we can start off with the offense as we usually do. The Browns offense, man, they are not good. They are 27th ranked overall total offense. Mm-hmm. They changed offensive coordinators. Their previous OC, he was fired after the wildcard game, and he signed with the Patriots as their new OC. And
that explains a lot.
Now they have former Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, who last year midseason was fired by Buffalo.
Well, for the first half of the season, Kevin Stefanski was taking offensive play calls, and now they're splitting play calls now. So you see what kind of just dysfunctional organization that they're running right now.
It's just not boding well. You can obviously tell by the Browns' offense just how it's run.
No, I mean, not just their offense, but I mean, their record clearly shows for it. They're 2-8. They've only beaten the Jags in week 2 and the Ravens in week 4 or week 8, excuse me. And since then, they've lost, 2 straight? Both were blowouts by more than 2 scores.
Yep.
Not good. Not good by the Browns, man. And yeah, their offense is absolutely dreadful. They are second worst in points per game with just 16.2, which, by the way, is the exact number of points that the Steelers are allowing per game. So that's kind of funny. They're the second worst in points per game, and then they're 6th worst in yards per game.
That's not good. And I think a lot of that obviously came into play when Deshaun Watson was under center.
Deshaun Watson did not have one single game where he threw more than 200 yards.
No, and now Jameis Winston is, of course, taking the reins at quarterback. And in 2 of his 3 starts, he's thrown for over 300 yards passing.
Yeah.
Well, Watson could not get one 200-yard passing game. And 7.
Not one.
Not one.
His first one was against the Ravens in their most recent win.
Yeah.
And last week versus the Saints, which was mostly in garbage time.
Yeah, exactly. So, but as far as statistics go, yeah, Winston, I mean, no doubt about it, Winston has definitely been the better quarterback for them. He's already thrown nearly as much yardage as Watson has in 7 games and more touchdowns than that in 3 games with 7 touchdowns, I believe.
Already, exactly.
So, I mean, as long as Watson is not under center, he could be hurt, he could be benched, he could be in jail, for God's sake, as he should be. I mean, there's no doubt that when Watson's under center, the Browns are better off. That's the God's honest truth.
Yeah, that's just how bad Watson is. That's how bad of a fall he has had in an NFL career. One of the worst downfalls I've seen from a quarterback, because obviously in his early days in Houston, he was looking legitimate. You know, people were saying, oh, the Bears, they took Trubisky over Watson and Mahomes, and now no one's saying that no more. Nope. No one putting Watson in the same breath as Mahomes. Watson is garbage. And what a waste of a contract. What an awful trade. One of the worst in NFL history by the Cleveland Browns.
One of the worst in sports history. The Browns sold their soul to the devil for this guy, for a man that the year prior had a career season, but then he sat for a year because he was unhappy about the Texans.
Right. So seeing that Jameis Winston is doing better is to no surprise. Is he the answer? Is he the future? Is he the solution? No, because at this stage of Jameis Winston's career, he's a journeyman.
Yeah, just like Joe Flacco was last year. It's like that was the guy that was just better off at quarterback, and it just worked at the right time.
Right. But the thing is with Jameis Winston is he can sling it. I'm not going to lie. He can sling it. He's not afraid to throw it. You know, he can definitely hit his targets. He can help them get in the end zone. He can help them put points on the board when they need to.
Yeah, and since Watson's been in there, I mean, everybody a part of the receiving core there has gotten more opportunities and more involved. You know, they trade away Amari Cooper, sure, to the Buffalo Bills, but since then, you know, Jerry Jeudy has stepped up as the number 1. He's gotten involved more. He's actually coming off a 142-yard receiving game against the Saints.
Yeah, career game and a touchdown.
Yeah, so, you know, Cedric Tillman, you know, as well, Elijah Moore, David Njoku, of course, who had a career year last year with Joe Flacco. So, you know, with Winston in there, I mean, he's a guy that can sling it still and a guy that just gives players opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the Browns need. But has it led to much success outside of the Ravens win? No. No, because the truth of the matter is their offense is still very less than, and Winston makes a lot of mistakes, clearly. His decision-making is trash.
It's always been questionable.
Very. Darren in the chat, he asks, you guys know if the Browns are done paying Watson or they still have more years of misery?
More years of misery.
His contract is 100% fully guaranteed. 100% fully guaranteed. He still has 2 years left on his contract. $72.935 million of a cap hit in each year. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that's the Browns for you.
And Watson has as many wins at quarterback that Winston does.
That's just awful.
That's the Browns in a nutshell.
That
right
is
now.
just terrible, man. And they have no choice but to go with him.
That's the Browns in a nutshell, man.
As ridiculous as it may sound, you can't sit him because of that guaranteed money.
Yeah.
They handcuffed themselves.
Honestly, him going down was a blessing for Cleveland, and it has led to something better for the offense, but is it leading to victories? Not really.
No.
No, it's nothing really crazy. It's nothing really consistent. Ever since that Ravens win, it's been blowout losses. And could this be another one against the Steelers? Lord knows we all hope so. Steelers Nation, we all hope so.
I like to envision it. I like for it to happen. Though, am I expecting it? No, I'm not. I'm not, because the last couple times that we have faced the Browns, it has been very close.
Well, not just that, but in Cleveland specifically.
Yeah. I'm glad that you pointed out, because the last 2 times the Steelers did play the Browns in Cleveland, they have lost. Though I should throw it out there, the quarterbacks under center for those games was Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett.
Oh, God.
Okay?
Oh, God.
And we have Russell Wilson.
God, look at how
Russell Wilson's been playing solid football still.
He has, man. He really has. He's actually led this offense to just a lot better success. He's opening things up a lot. You know, I suppose him and his decision-making, or him really being a smart veteran, has kind of dwindled a little bit the last 2 weeks. He's thrown 2 interceptions in the same amount of games, but I would still think Russ is still a very good quarterback for the Steelers right now. I still thought he was solid last week.
Right.
I think Russell Wilson still is going to lead this team to a very good stretch towards this end of the season. Perhaps maybe run most of the table. And the Browns are up next. And one thing you notice about the Browns is, their offense isn't much, but neither is their defense.
No. And what a fall from grace, I would say, because the Browns last year, we all know, they were statistically the number 1 ranked defense. Like, they were so reliable. Now, this year, they have fallen from number 1. And keep in mind, Jim Schwartz is still their defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. This is his second year as defensive coordinator. So they were number 1 last year. Right now, they are the 19th total ranked defense. And they've just been underwhelming. They have been unreliable. And same with the offense, like, they have been bit by the injury bug, sure, but, like, there's no resiliency from either part from the team.
No, you just don't get a sense of any life from the Browns, really. In fact, the Browns defense in total only has 2 interceptions all season. 2. In fact, they have 7 total turnovers forced all season. That's it. And the guy leading the charge is obviously Myles Garrett with 7 sacks this year. But outside of Myles Garrett, in that front 7 specifically, Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson are really the only notable names. Everyone else are aging vets or depth players or young guys that are in rookie contracts. Nothing too substantial. I don't want to sleep on some of the guys that have to be leaned on now, but
no, not at all.
Those are the only 2 that really pop the mind. Otherwise, you look at their linebacking core, it is absolutely depressing.
No, and ever since they lost Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the Joker, and that was in the Ravens game too, and it was a very scary incident with his neck.
Yes.
The neck injury that left him on the IR, and I read today, apparently it's now putting his career in jeopardy.
That's
which
awful.
Is unfortunate to hear.
Because he's such a damn football player. He's a good football player.
And knowing from experience with the Ryan Shazier situation, it's very unfortunate.
It is.
But all I can hope for and pray is that, he can recover this completely.
Agreed. But that just goes to show you, the more injuries that the Browns have been suffering on both sides of the ball. But now that their linebacking core is as follows. Winston Reed.
Who?
I don't know. An aging Jordan Hicks, and hilariously,
Devin Bush.
Former Steeler.
Good old Devin Bush, man.
Devin Bush. He will be starting for the Browns against the Steelers this Thursday night. I am very excited for that.
Yeah, I was excited for that Seahawks game when he had to play for Seattle last year, and he did nothing in that game.
Right.
So I look very forward to the Steelers going up against Devin Bush.
So you see their front 7, it's nothing crazy. Like, you fear Garrett in a sense. Dalvin Tomlinson is a big vet guy that can still clog holes and get some pressure. He has 3 sacks on a year.
Still a capable player. And even, Shelby Harris, very, very good veteran at that.
And their secondary is still healthy for the most part. They're pretty strong. In fact, they're mostly intact. Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome are probably one of the better corner duos in the league. I think Ward has one of their 2 picks and 17 pass deflections this season. That's a lot.
Yeah, Ward's a dog. Denzel Ward, man, coming out of college, we all knew the type of talent that he possessed, and he's just been that reliable number 1 guy for them for this whole time. Ward
and Newsome are really good. Two young guys, 2 first-round corners that the Browns are really relying on, and as they should. They're good. In fact, Pickens is going to have another really good test against either guy this Thursday.
For sure.
But we know Pickens in his history against the Browns, he typically is I think he's starting to grow as one of those Browns killers. We like to throw that out for a guy like TJ Watt specifically. Ben did it his entire career. So many other guys. But I'm starting to think Pickens is starting to creep up into that level as well. So he's going to have a tough test for sure. But, what we've seen from George Pickens, especially with Russell Wilson at the helm at quarterback, they're connecting very often.
Yeah, Pickens has just been on a reign of terror since Russ has been in there, and that chemistry just continues to brew much better week by week.
And there's frankly not a single corner in this league that can slow down George Pickens. No. He's went up some of the best in the league. Sauce. He's went up against what's his name from the Browns? Yeah, Pat Surtain, and he had a rough day. Don't look at the stats. He had a rough day in week 2. So I think Pickens is still gonna have himself a very solid game. Honestly, I would really much still favor the Steelers trying to target George Pickens as much as they can and get him the ball and keep feeding him.
And not just George Pickens, but a guy like Mike Williams, who did not see 1 target last week.
Not 1 target.
No. I would like to see more Mike Williams this upcoming week versus Cleveland. I feel like it's a necessity. You trade a 5th-round pick for him for a reason because the other receivers, though they've been given more opportunities, they still haven't really grabbed that brass ring.
Yeah.
Van Jefferson has not really done much at all. Just get Mike Williams involved. There's a reason why you brought him in.
Yeah, if there's a game that they need to get him involved in, it's this one. Because feed the guy. Get him involved, especially when it comes to the red zone. And that's exactly where I want to turn to now, is the red zone. Because last week was a very good team win against the Ravens. It was a dogfight. It was a very heated exchange in Pittsburgh. The field was just covered with laundry and a lot of words, a lot of heated exchange, right? But it was a very good win because the defense played lights out and the offense did just enough to get the win. Just enough to be able to get Boswell to get the field goals capable of getting the victory.
6 field goals, man.
6 field goals, but the offense was 0-4 in the red zone, and that's not the first time they did that this season. In fact, that's not the first time they did that at home this season.
Now, if you remember that Giants game Monday night, the game before the bye week, they were the same thing, 0-4 in red zone efficiency.
In fact, I have a stat here. They are more efficient in the red zone on the road than they are at home because look at the Commanders game. They were 3-4 in the red zone in Washington.
Yeah,
coming off of the bye week. In fact, their percentage of scoring touchdowns and red zone efficiency in away games is as follows. In fact, let me find it here. There we go. My computer just glitched. They are scoring on 56.25% of their red zone trips in away games.
Wow.
Compared to 44.44% of their red zone trips at home.
That's a weird stat. That's a very weird stat, but you know what?
In fact, the Steelers' offense is 30th ranked in red zone offense, in red zone efficiency.
30th. That's not what you want to see.
They're 30th.
That's not what you want to see.
But they perform better on the road. And I got some more stats for you. You ready to hear this?
Yeah.
And this one actually excites me because the Browns, man, they are the 24th ranked red zone defense. And they have allowed, at home specifically, at home, they allow an 84.62% of red zone scores, which is dead last by almost 10%. Next closest is the Commanders at allowing the most red zone scores at their own house. So you're telling me the Browns are allowing almost 85% of red zone scores at their own house, and the Steelers are more efficient on the road? The Steelers have no excuses to not be efficient in the red zone this week.
No, zero.
No excuses. None. So when you look at that, that's the biggest thing I want to see in this game. Obviously a win. I want to see a win first and foremost. But if there's anything I want to see from the offense, it is growth in the red zone. The stats show they are a lot better on the road. That's fine. The Browns are awful at protecting their at defensive red zone at home. That's all the tools you need. And then now it is up to Arthur Smith to scheme up ways where the offense can get in said red zone. Get Pickens the ball. Get Williams involved in the red zone. Toss it up to your tight ends. Muth has all his touchdowns in the red zone. Washington is a mismatch against anybody because of his height. And frankly, can we start seeing some Justin Fields in the red zone?
Yeah.
Because most of our red zone success this season is due to Justin Fields' legs.
If you actually look at the percentage, yeah, Fields has a better percentage than Russell Wilson does. And that's because of Fields' legs, like you stated. So if there's any way that Steelers are in that predicament, I've always stated, utilize your guys and where they're going to capitalize and they're going to succeed the best. A guy like Mike Williams in the red zone, that's where you capitalize. A guy like George Pickens, that's where you capitalize. A guy like Justin Fields with his unpredictability and his legs, that's where you utilize him.
And for the first time this season, the Steelers finally used the Justin Fields packages that Mike Tomlin was insinuating to back in week 1 before Atlanta, before Russell Wilson got hurt again, before he re-injured his calf. For the first time this season, we got to see some Justin Fields packages and helped us close the game out. Kudos to that. Now it is time to get him involved throughout the game. I'm not saying do it every drive or do it too consistently, but do it when you have to. In short yardage situations, when it comes to moving the chains, or most importantly, getting in the end zone, or when you're in the red zone, that's where you use Justin Fields. Look at what Taysom Hill did last week. Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
100-something plus yards, 140-something yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Taysom Hill. Justin Fields has, 5 rushing touchdowns on the season?
He does, yeah.
All in the red zone?
Yep, correct.
If Arthur Smith is not using Justin Fields at any point in this game, or especially in the red zone, he's doing himself and the Steelers a massive disservice.
No, and I was actually looking at the All-22 film of where the Steelers were in the red zone, and the route concepts and the people that he was utilizing was just not to the best of his ability, in my opinion.
No.
That's where Smith and himself as a coach, and as far as his red zone offense goes, that's where he's going to have to draw up plays better. That's where he's going to have to utilize his talent better.
Well, that's also been his biggest negative as a coach, is his red zone offense has never been good. From his days in Tennessee to obviously his days in Atlanta and now in Pittsburgh. His red zone efficiency is just not good. It never really has been. But there's no excuse. There's no reason why this offense, led by a veteran and Russell Wilson, can't get in the end zone more often. At least once last week. At least once. With the talent that they possess.
And the turnovers that they got where they could have capitalized big time.
There's no reason this offense can't get in the end zone at least once when they're in the red zone. That's up to Arthur Smith to scheme up ways where we can get in the end zone and rack up some points and get some touchdowns. It's up to him. Yes, it's up to the players to execute as well. Absolutely. In fact, maybe they should have had a touchdown last week if Russell Wilson made a better throw to Darnell, or if Darnell jumped to catch the ball on that interception play. Either way, they gotta improve in that area. So there's a lot of things I want to see in this game. A win is first and foremost, but from the offense perspective, I want to see some efficiency. I want to see a lot better success in the red zone, because clearly the stats prove that the Browns are terrible at home with the red zone defense. We play a lot better in the red zone efficiency when we're on the road. And frankly, we need to start finishing these drives, because that's what's going to come in clutch. That's what's come up big towards this second half of the season.
Yeah.
Towards this stretch.
Well, of course. It's a necessity. It's where they're going to have to attack. It's where points is what wins you games, not field goals. Let's be real.
Yeah. So this offense, man, they got to finish drives. No ifs, ands, or buts. There's no excuse. There's no reason why this team can't get in the end zone at least once. With the talent they possess, with the packages that Arthur Smith can scheme up, with the weapons that they have, and the success of those weapons in the red zone. Justin Fields, all his touchdowns, all his rushing touchdowns in the red zone. Muth, all his touchdowns in his entire career in the red zone. Pickens is a 50-50 god. Mike Williams is a 50-50 god. Darnell is a mammoth of a tight end.
How the running backs.
The running backs are receiving
running
backs.
backs alone, receiving backs, right? If you want to run the rock right there. I mean, the offensive line and their run blocking has gotten a bit better, in my opinion, especially with Frazier back under center.
Like, there are ways where they can get in the end zone. They just do it in the most complicated fashion. And the way they draw up certain routes or they scheme up certain things is just mind-boggling sometimes, just like last week. So that's where they got to improve. Now, Arthur Smith did mention that he's more worried about not turning the ball over than getting in the end zone because there were in the past 2 weeks, they have committed 2 red zone turnovers. The Jalen Warren fumble versus the Commanders and the Russell Wilson interception last week. So I get that. But why not both? Why not both? Why can't we protect the ball while getting in the end zone?
I understand if that's Smith's, reasoning for it, but like at the same time, you can't be worried about it. Like, it's football at the end of the day, and what you gotta do is get into the end zone by any means necessary.
I feel like in this game, man, I feel like it's honestly a good recipe and a good matchup to improve on those mistakes.
Yeah. To
improve on those errors where those are going to be important down the second half stretch.
Yeah.
That's where you got to improve, and I think this is the picture-perfect game to do it. I don't want to underestimate the Browns, but the stats show that the Browns just can't stop anything right now. So there's no reason the Steelers can't get in the end zone. There's no reason the Steelers can't get points on the board. There's no reason we can't see a Steelers touchdown this week.
No, not at all. Against a division rival, despite the record and how they're performing, they're a division rival. The Steelers could be on their way to 9-2, man. 9-2. Like, if that isn't enough motivation to get into the end zone, to rack points on the board, to get a victory on the road, like, come on.
I'm just saying, man. But otherwise, yeah, this offense. You look at this offense, I do see some efficiency. I do see growth. I see that they are spreading the ball around. I see that things are very much a lot more open than I would honestly say the Steelers fan that they've ever been. I think this is a good game where they can really start running the ball again. They can rely on Warren. They can rely on Najee. And I feel like in this game, that's going to be most important this season than it ever will be. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the weather in this game is expected to be wet and very ugly. There's a 91 probability of precipitation come Thursday night at Cleveland Browns Stadium and 38 miles per hour wind gusts.
38. Mm-hmm. So with that being said,
the game plan.
With that being said, is you got to run the football, and you got to run it very effectively because the Browns' rushing defense is not good. They cannot stop the run at all. And we all know how well the Steelers have been able to run the ball. Najee's been on a reign of terror. Warren now back and healthy. He's a very good complementary piece to Najee as he always has been. The offensive line, their run blocking, it's been very good. So, yeah, of course, the game plan, as it usually is, but most importantly for this one, you got to run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to continue to feed Warren, continue to feed Najee. I mean, those guys the past 2 weeks have been very good at splitting the rock and kind of keeping the wheels going, keeping the legs going and maintaining time possession and just helping out a lot of areas for both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
You got to keep relying on those guys. And I feel like in this game, that's going to be most important.
Yeah, now that you mentioned the weather and, the rain and the wind that's bound to be on Thursday night in Cleveland, I would probably expect less passing to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Russell Wilson, unless it's absolutely necessary, you got to throw the ball, but only do it for the right circumstances. You can't have the weather affect, the ability of the players, doing what they need to do.
I would anticipate a lot more 12 and 13 personnel, probably a little more I form. Definitely a little more under center, I would imagine, for Russell Wilson. I could very well see this being a run-heavy game for the Steelers. If the weather is as it is advertised, I would think the Steelers are going to really try to run the ball, and that's going to be their main game plan. And honestly, I think that's the best way to go because that's where the Steelers' offense first finds success.
Yeah.
They run the ball, and then they attack in the air because then they can attack with some play action. They can attack with some read option. They can really open some things up. And we got the targets to make plays down the field.
Indeed.
Especially a guy like George Pickens, who, again, has been making plays with Russ every single game that Russ has been in. And his history against the Browns shows you that Pickens can make plays. So I think it all starts with running the ball. And you look at the Browns, you look at their front seven, you look at their rushing defense. It's weak. It is so weak. They are relying on a lot of depth, a lot of aging vets. I don't want to underestimate it by any means, but I think that's exactly where you got to attack. Attack that linebacking core.
Of course.
Most of it outside of Hicks is depth. Bush and Reed are depth.
Yeah.
They're weak guys. Attack it. Start pulling Mason McCormick. Let's get him in the second level. Let's get Frazier in the second level. Let's get up the field.
Say Malo in the second level, guys like that, you know. Moore's been playing very good at left tackle all season, so yeah. And I would imagine, you know, the game plan that's going to be for the Steelers, I assume, is going to be the same for Cleveland. But the thing about Cleveland and their rushing offense is it's been very non-existent, though they have Nick Chubb back.
Right.
They have Nick Chubb back, though he hasn't been that explosive back, or he hasn't had an explosive game since coming back from that gruesome injury he sustained against the Pittsburgh Steelers back in Week 2 last year.
And, dude, I remember that game. He was running all over us.
We couldn't stop him.
I'll be honest with you, man. If Chubb doesn't get hurt, if he doesn't go out with injury, I don't know if we win that Week 2 game last year. I don't.
No.
We couldn't stop him to save our lives.
It was a devastating injury at that, too. I mean, like...
We couldn't even stop Jerome Ford in that game.
No, Jerome Ford had, like, a big gain and whatnot, you know. And Ford had a very, very impressive year stepping in for Chubb last year, if you remember. Almost 900 rushing yards. So he stepped in. He did very good, though this year he hasn't duplicated any of that.
But this year, they don't even have 1,000 total rushing yards.
No, and I don't think it's anything from the backs. I don't think it's the backs' fault. I don't. Because I think Ford's a very good, you know, solid backup for Chubb. And Chubb, though this injury could affect his running style in the long term, you know, I still find Chubb as a threat. I mean, how can you not? He's Nick Chubb at the end of the day.
Well, he's also getting anywhere from 10 to 15 carries a game, so clearly they're going to keep feeding him.
Of course. And I would imagine, you know, after, you know, the injury that he sustained, he's going to want to have a massive chip on his shoulder against the Steelers here.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be playing with some animosity because this is the team that took him out last year.
Yeah. Though the rushing offense has been non-existent. I don't think it's really any of the backs' fault. I think it's their offensive line.
It's crazy because their line is, for the most part, very similar to last year.
Yeah.
Now, I know they've dealt with some injuries. I know DeJuan Jones is going to be out. He might be out for the rest of the season, actually.
He's on IR.
I think Gerald Wills is going to be out. Jedrick Wills is going to be out for this game. Because I know he's on the injury report, and he's not looking promising to play.
No, and he's still recovering from that injury he sustained last year that put him out for the season. Same with Jack Conklin, their right tackle. So their tackles are pretty bruised up. You know, they're still trying to come back from their season-ending injuries.
Their entire O-line is beat up, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a mixture of various different starting offensive lines, and no matter what, their offensive line is not good.
No, it's not.
It's not. You want to know how bad it is, actually? Here's the stat for you. Their offensive line is so bad that so far, 11 weeks into the NFL, they have...
Or 10 weeks.
10 weeks, technically, you're right.
Because they had the bye before...
10 games then.
Yeah.
They have allowed 46 sacks.
In 10 games.
33 of them to Deshaun Watson.
And by the way, Deshaun Watson is still the third highest sacked quarterback in the league, and he hasn't played since October 20th.
Right. And since Winston has stepped in, he's already been sacked 12 times.
9 in the last 2 weeks, or 2 games.
Now, here's a crazy stat for you. From last year, all of last year, and between 5 different quarterbacks that were under center for Cleveland last year, they gave up 45.
All season.
They've already given up 46. So,
if TJ Watt isn't licking his
you already know, all right?
If TJ Watt isn't licking his chops right now, bro, and he's probably the top Browns killer on the team right now. Once Ben left, he took that crown. He took that crown. Ever since day one, his first NFL start, he had a sack, he had an interception, and that was a taste.
That was the writing on the wall right there. Like he's right here to ruin you. Rain on your parade. Just destroy your entire franchise. Is TJ Watt.
This Browns O-line can't withstand anything. They can't get blocks in the run game. They can't protect the quarterback clearly.
And just like Baltimore, you know, they also have problems with penalties. That offensive line in general is not good.
And we're talking about a pass rush led by TJ Watt. Nick Herbig had 4 pressures, a forced fumble on Derrick Henry last week.
He had a big game, you know, back from his first game back from injury.
We got Preston Smith as the rotational vet piece. We got Cam Hayward, who's still very good for his age. Ben can get pressure. Ogunjobi can get pressure.
Yeah.
We can blitz, obviously.
We've been blitzing the inside linebackers a lot more, if you noticed.
Yeah, especially a guy like Roberts last week.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a pass rush that is going to be hungry, that's going to be ready to go, that's going to be wanting to eat on Thursday night in Cleveland Browns Stadium. That's a mismatch.
They're going to be hungry come Thursday night, and you know that they're going to want to eat up Winston, man.
That's
and they got to.
That's a mismatch, and that's going to be the perfect That's going to be the perfect game plan. It's going to be the perfect recipe for success for the Steelers team because you get to Winston, you stall drives, or better yet, you force them to make mistakes, and then we could come away with a turnover or two.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the defense against Baltimore was just, they were locked in. They were outstanding. They had 3 turnovers. They gave the number one, they allowed the number one ranked scoring offense to have their least amount of yardage and points so far this season.
All season, and committing as many turnovers in one game that they allowed all season. Well, that they gave away all season.
So that energy that they had at home, they got to bring that on the road. They got to have that same energy, that same mentality. They got to eat up. They got to eat up this Browns offense.
Yeah, because they have 11 picks on the year, as well as, I believe, 8 fumble recoveries.
Yeah.
So that's 19 total turnovers.
It's impressive, man.
This defense, man, it's an absolute great matchup for them. But at the same time, I don't want to sleep on Cleveland because this is AFC North football. They beat the Ravens.
They pulled off the upset.
Their last win, they pulled off the upset. When it comes to AFC North football, I want to roll anything out. These 4 teams just know how to play against each other. Even the Browns and how awful they are. They just know how to play against each other. They know them so well. They have each other's number. And for the most part, it's always a close and tough battle.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sleep on the Browns. They're 2-8. They suck. They're at the bottom of the division as where they belong. But I don't want to underestimate them. And the biggest reason why I don't want to underestimate them is because the Browns right now, they have nothing to lose.
No,
Nothing.
They don't. At this point, no.
Their season is over. They are suffering every injury imaginable. They have nothing to fight for right now except pride or to spoil any divisional rival that they're going up against, which is the Steelers twice, and I believe they have a couple more towards the tail end of the season.
Right.
Their job right now, their mission right now, is to just spoil any AFC North rival that they go up against.
Yeah.
That's their motivation. Do not sleep. Do not underestimate the Browns.
No, I'm not looking to do so. You know, I stated it throughout the whole Ravens week, last week. AFC North football, it's different than any other divisional football.
It's the best football in the entire NFL.
There's nothing like AFC North football. These guys are always competitive. It's always down to the wire. It's always close. It is always close and physical.
So I don't want the Steelers, I don't want Tomlin to lead this team to go into Cleveland, into Cleveland Browns Stadium and think to himself, well, the Browns are 2-8. They're at the bottom of the AFC North. This is a short week. We don't got to put much effort, much energy into this. This is on lock.
Yeah, no, we're on a 5-game win streak, man. We're first place. We just knocked off the Baltimore Ravens.
I don't want that to be the mentality.
No, it can't be.
They need to treat this as if the season is on the line, and as Tomlin would say, handle business.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, despite the records, despite who's under center and whatnot, despite the teams in the AFC North, it's AFC North football.
You know how I want the Steelers going into this game? The Browns were the last AFC North team to beat us. In fact, they were the only AFC North team to beat us last year.
Yeah.
They were. I want them to go into this game thinking, you're the last team to beat us in the division. No brainer.
We got to get our win back.
That's what I'm saying.
The last 2 times in Cleveland, you knocked us off our pedestal. We got to get our wins back.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is the town, this is the stadium that Big Ben resided in, and still does probably.
Yeah.
They should have just named it Big Ben Stadium, to be real with you.
Yeah.
This is the stadium that Big Ben took over, and you beat us 2 straight times. They got to go in with a sense of energy. They got to go in with a sense of like what they did the past couple games that we thought were trap games, right? They got to go in with a killer instinct, a killer mentality. And although you might think this has the feeling of a trap game, the Steelers have won 5 straight. The Browns have lost 2 straight, both blowouts. We're going on the road on a short week. You can say this has the feeling of a huge trap game. But I'm going to say this. I trust the Steelers. This team is different compared to previous years. They know how important this is. This entire team, their vibe, their motivation, their goal, like they know they can't sleep on the Browns. They can't go in and play them lightly. They can't play down to their competition because, and the reason I say that is the evidence was proved earlier this year with the Raiders, right? They blew out the Raiders. They blew out the Jets. a part of the game, they blew out the Giants. They definitely should have blew them out. They should have had more touchdowns because they went 0-4 in that game as well in the red zone. So you look at those games against those teams, and you had a feeling, well, the Steelers of past played down to those teams, but they really didn't. Now, this is AFC North Football. This is the Browns, so maybe it's a different level of football. But I'm thinking, if they can dominate those games, maybe the Steelers can go in and give us a sense of trust and kind of spare the feeling that maybe this is a trap game and go in and actually win a very good football game.
Yeah, but not only that, them blowing out teams that they should be blowing out, but the fact that sometimes they be down behind games, right?
Yeah.
And they showcase resiliency. They showcase that they don't give up. They don't let the mistakes that happen earlier in the game play out. They don't let it affect them throughout the rest of the game. They're like, all right, that was before. This is now. We have to come from behind. We have to make this comeback happen, and they do.
Well, look at the last 2 weeks. They were down 10 points to the Commanders, 24-14. They came back. Look at last week. They were down 7-6. Patrick Queen forced a fumble. The Steelers got the lead back, and the Ravens never got the lead back.
No.
This Steelers team is different, man. They just play with a sense of urgency. They play with a sense of commitment. Like, they understand the goal. They know how to win games. They can win any game. They can compete with any team. So, although you might have a negative feeling about this game, you might have that bad feeling in the back of your head. And I don't blame you because, believe me, I'm right there with you. But I'm going to trust this team and the way that they're moving right now and think to myself, they're going to go into this game knowing how much they need to win this game because any and every divisional matchup from here on out is very important. It's more important than the Eagles game and maybe even the Chiefs game. Maybe the Chiefs because we don't know where the AFC standings are going to stand come Christmas. Mm-hmm. But the divisional matchups is going to be huge. That's how the Steelers are going to be able to get most of their wins, in my opinion, and that's how they're going to continue to stack wins against the conference specifically.
Especially with all the AFC North games in the second half of the season. That makes it even that much more important. Like they can't take anybody. They can't underestimate the talent. They have to take them seriously.
Not even the 2-8 Cleveland Browns.
No. So they got to go on the road. All this momentum, they can't let the momentum get to their head. I get it. You're on a 5-game win streak. You're looking good. You're one of the top teams in the AFC, probably in the NFL. I get it. But you can't let it get into your head. You got to stay focused. You got to remain focused. You got to keep a mentality. You got to go on the road, and you got to knock these guys off.
Agreed.
You got to get another win. You got to keep that momentum going. Don't let it get to your head. Keep the momentum going.
I agree.
Keep the wheels spinning.
Don't play down to the competition and go into Cleveland fighting for a dub. Get a dub, earn the dub, walk out with a dub, walk out with 6 straight, walk out 9-2, walk out remaining first place in the AFC North with a mini bye to your advantage before you have to face the Bengals the week after.
Right.
I think that'd be a good situation that the Steelers could put themselves in. But they got to go in Thursday and handle business. So feel free in thinking however you want to think about this game and how it might be a trap where they might play down because of history, and it's just kind of what the Steelers do sometimes. But I just get a sense maybe this team's different, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. This time around, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and think, you know what, they're going to go into this game and they're going to handle business. They're going to get the dub and they're going to do what they have to do to win. Could there be some senses of maybe they keep it close, maybe they allow the Browns to keep it too close, or maybe they make an error or two? Maybe, perhaps. Maybe that's just Steelers football.
Could it be one of those circumstances where we have to rely on Boz? It very well could be. We relied on him a lot last week against Baltimore, but considering on the weather circumstances and the wind, the miles per hour you mentioned, like that's definitely going to affect. That's going to come big into that game. So they got to find a way to give Boz a week off, right? They got to limit. Like, he had leg day. He had leg day on Sunday. He can't have leg day twice in a week.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like give Boz some rest. He got us that win. Give him his well-earned rest.
Yeah.
Let the offense do what they need to do, especially with the weather.
And the first things first is what you got to do is you got to run the ball. That's going to be the game plan. You got to run the ball. You got to open lanes. You got to continue to feed Najee, who's having a great year. Warren, who's back healthy fully. Maybe you incorporate Patterson a couple times. And clearly, please, for the love of God, Justin Fields.
Of course.
Use them when you need to. Use them when it's necessary, especially if you are marked in the red zone.
And 100% protect that football.
Yeah.
Because, again, the weather and the Steelers have turned over the ball a lot more than they normally did earlier in the season.
We have 3 times the last 2 weeks.
Just protect that football, man. Keep control of it. Protect it.
Well, I just favor this matchup because, well, first of all, it is the Browns. But, I mean, I just think again, with the red zone allowance that the Browns allow at their own house and how the Steelers are a better red zone offense on the road, I think that's a good recipe for success.
I don't see how the Steelers don't take advantage of that.
They're the Browns front seven versus the Steelers O-line and the Steelers rushing offense. I think that's a great matchup for them. I think it's a good game realistically for the offense to go up against. I think they can really have themselves a solid game, and I finally put points on the board.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling very good about this game, man. At the end of the day, I still think the Steelers win. I think they get 6 straight wins and they advance to 9-2.
Oh yeah, brother.
Now, in the back of my mind, this could be a very upsetting game for Steelers fans, but I'm hoping the Steelers can kind of just bury all that, fear and go in and have a very good victory. I would hope so. They're going up against a defense that doesn't force a lot of turnovers. The Steelers offense doesn't cough up the ball a lot either.
No.
In fact, my biggest worry about running the ball in the rain probably has to do with Jaylen Warren, because most of his fumbles occur when it's wet out.
Yeah, that is a worrisome thing to look out for.
That would be my biggest worry of this game when they want to run the ball. But even still, don't shut away from it. Just continue to run the ball, and you can still hit your home run hitters in the air if you have to. Or maybe the Steelers don't get too aggressive in the passing attack, perhaps because of the weather, perhaps because of the rain or the wind gusts. And maybe they just throw it short. Maybe they throw more intermediate passes and
maybe.
just allow the players to make the plays.
And we all know how much Russ likes to throw the deep ball every now and then, but this may be one of the games where the game plan changes a bit. They may just have to rely on short yardage passing situations, and maybe the players can do the rest.
We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But I'm feeling very confident about this game. There's not a lot left to say in regards to the Browns and the Steelers because it's the Browns. They're just not good. They're not great. They're not even decent, bro. They're
one of the worst.
They're where they belong. Let me just put it that way. But Steelers versus Browns, man. I really want them to get a win. I want the win back in Cleveland. And frankly, beating the Browns is always a good time. And on prime time, and to win 6 straight before the mini bye, I think that's perfect for the Steelers.
That'd be huge momentum.
And what would be hilarious is they would be beating, if they beat the Browns on Thursday, they would beat 2 AFC North rivals in a span of 5 days.
While being 9-2 at that.
Essentially in the same week. Your first 2 divisional matchups to get back-to-back wins, I think that's very important.
That's enough motivation for you to go in there and get the win.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
I would hope so, man. There's a poll in the chat. How many touchdowns do the Steelers score? So far, 45% of you guys say a bold 2. 2? I would be very happy with 2.
2 would be good. Maybe a good start off, right?
Maybe.
Could be a good start off,
I don't
if
know,
they
man.
get to that point.
How's the chat doing? Let me see. Minka needs to keep an eye out for the Chubb injury. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Chubb's probably gonna have a lot of animosity.
Not just that, but it's a hostile environment in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
It's always going to be. So that they can't let that get to their head. Everybody can't let that get to their head.
The Steelers have not beat Cleveland at their home since 2022. The last two years they beat us. So that just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, knowing how much the Steelers beat Cleveland at Cleveland.
But I
for
also
so many years.
I also remember the 2 quarterbacks that started those games.
Correct.
Keep that in mind.
This is a Warren and Pat Frymuth game. Any way those 2 guys can get more involved, the better.
Big time.
Any way you can spread the ball around, the better. Ryan Bucher says, "What's up, brothers? How you doing, Ryan?"
Hey, Ryan. How you doing, bro?
Hope everything's doing good, bro. Good to see you in the chat, bro. Russ throws 300 yards and 3 and 4 touchdowns. That's bold. In that weather, that's a little bold. Here's my bold prediction. Warren gets 2 rushing touchdowns. That's my bold prediction.
That'd be great. He doesn't have one yet this season. I think he's due.
He's due.
He's definitely
in
due.
a game like this, you got to feed the guy. That's my bold prediction. Let's see. Big fan of yours. Hello from Dallas, says Gennaro Guerrero. Well, shout out to Gigi, man. Appreciate you, bro. Browns have nothing to lose and want to play spoiler. Exactly. That's the thing. That's their motivation. That's all they have going for them right now. How can we spoil the AFC North rivals? How can we spoil their hopes for lead or a playoff push? Especially the Ravens and Steelers. They already beat the Ravens their first time.
Yeah, they did.
You think they want to do the same to the Steelers? Of course they do. Well, we beat the Ravens, and quite frankly, we got to go in not underestimating them.
No, we can't. Not at all.
I definitely was picking my chops when I thought we was going to play Watson. I'd rather play Watson. I'd rather play Watson. I would.
I'll say this. I feel more confident playing against Watson than I do Winston, but Winston still isn't that perfect of a quarterback.
Right.
There's a reason he's a backup, okay?
Redneck Rebel in the chat says, it's a trap. It might be. It might be. At the end of the day, it truthfully might be. I'm trying to give this team the benefit of the doubt, man. I'm trying to stay positive. I feel very good about this team. I feel very different about this team compared to years past. I get a sense like this team, yeah, sometimes they let up a little bit, but they always come back in the end.
Yeah.
This team's just different. Digital Dust says rainy weather will definitely have Justin on the field more. I would hope so. More Justin Fields, the better. Eagles game is least important with seeding. Yeah, I agree. Because, I mean, they're out of conference.
Mm-hmm.
All the other games are very important. The Chiefs game, perhaps maybe the most important, because Lord knows where the standings are going to be come Christmas.
Yeah.
But right now, my focus is just beating the divisional rivals first.
Yeah.
Because winning the division would clinch us the number 3 seed.
I'll say this quick.
Or 2 seed, depending on the Bills' record.
I'll say this quick. Like, we know the Chiefs are the team to beat in the AFC in order to get to the Super Bowl. So I'll say that. But we'll get to that point when we get to Kansas City.
Right. We're going to see Justin Fields a lot, I feel like. I'd hope so. We got a taste of him last week. That should mean he's going to get more playing time.
And
right?
again, the weather, it's going to play a big factor. I wouldn't be surprised if this were to be very low scoring because of the rain.
That's why I took the under.
Yeah.
That's why I took the under.
As a matter of fact, I fully expect it to be low scoring. So.
That's why I took the under, man.
Yep.
Estat says, got to go 4-2 in the division. I'd rather go 5-1 or 6-0. 4-2 would be good, though.
Went 5-1 last year.
With 3 different quarterbacks.
So, yeah.
And quite frankly, man, this is going to be a hot take. This is going to be a hot take, and I don't care, bro. You guys can agree. You guys can disagree. That's your freedom.
Oh, okay.
The Steelers went 5-1 last year in the division with 3 different quarterbacks. Now they got Russ and they got Fields, 2 quarterbacks that are very capable of giving the Steelers wins. I personally think the Steelers improve the most out of any AFC North team. I don't think any AFC North team improved at all. I think all 3 downgraded while the Steelers were the only one to improve. Because the Browns clearly downgraded. The Bengals clearly downgraded. The Ravens, they've downgraded from a defensive aspect. For sure.
Yeah.
Their line is still suffering.
They added Derrick Henry, but that's pretty much it.
The Steelers, they've improved in a lot of areas. I would argue that the Steelers are the most improved and probably the only improved team in the AFC North.
They've improved in quarterback play and position. They've improved in O-line. They've improved in
The defense, the linebacking core, the secondary.
Without a doubt. Special teams
Coaching.
as well.
Yeah.
Depth at that.
So I would say the Steelers have a great chance of running the table in the division.
I'd hope so.
Seeing how they went 5-1 last year and have improved, and I do say with a hot take, the only improved AFC North team, when you look at everything so far, I think they got a great chance to run the division.
Yeah.
So winning 2 straight to start off would be good, because then we would have the Bengals and then who's I think the Browns again after that.
Yeah.
So
It's a bold take for sure, but, it's a bold one at that.
use Hayward a fullback for Justin runs. Why not? Why not, right? I mean, we did see a little more eye for him last week, so I don't hate that.
The utilization of a fullback, man.
What is that? Matt Cannon never did that. What I want to see more, though, from this game as well is I want to see Russell Wilson a lot more under center. A lot more under center. I think the offense just has more success when he's under center because then the defense doesn't know. Are they going to run it? Is it going to be a play action? And the way Russ runs the play or sells the play action is very effective.
Very.
And the way that they succeed off of the play action passes is a good thing for this offense. I want Russ to be a little more under center this game. Terrell Arthur Smith has to drop some things for this offense, man. We need our tight end more involved, not enough targets.
You know what? I agree.
100%.
I 100% because I looked at Freiermuth's targets and the catches he's getting. He's getting about 3 targets per game within the past 5 games, and maybe 2 to 3 catches at most.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we don't utilize him more in the passing game. I don't understand.
Me neither.
Middle of the field usage. We know how well Muth is when he's over there. Now I know Russ doesn't really target middle of the field as often, but you have a tight end that we know can be utilized around middle of the field, as well as Darnell Washington. Remember the big play Washington did middle of the field right there last week?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Against Baltimore?
2 of them.
You can do that with both of your tight ends. They're mismatches. They're reliable targets. They're guys that 100% can get involved.
Right.
If you just scheme them up in that way. So, yes, I agree. Definitely get the tight ends involved more.
They run tons of tight end packages. They just need the targets. Yeah, how cold will it be? Yeah, it'll be in the 40s and very windy. A great chance of rain.
Yeah.
Hate to say it, but I would be extremely surprised if we won this game. Just one of those feelings says, are you serious, 83? You have every right to feel that way. I don't blame you for feeling that way, dude. History shows that this is the type of game where the Steelers just crash out. They play down. They lose. They're on a hot streak, and then they fall flat. They let the momentum just get to them.
I really hope not, man.
We've seen it so many times in the past. So many times in the past. I just get a different feeling this time, man. I really do. I'm not worried about the offense moving. Worries the game versus Ravens are always super low scoring. We saw what the offense can do in past weeks. You're right. That's why I gave them the benefit of the doubt last week versus the Ravens. That, yeah, it's just always defensive.
Yeah, even Ravens.
Even the Ravens couldn't score on us often. They only scored 16 points.
Yeah.
Half of what they typically average a game. It's just they do need to score more. And frankly, in games past, like that Giants game, they were 0-4 in the red zone. So it's not the first time this season they went 0-4 at home in the red zone. But they do play a lot better in the red zone when they're in the when they're on the road. So perhaps that's the secret. Maybe that's the secret sauce for them. I don't know. But it's definitely something they gotta look at and improve on.
That's really the one asset or aspect on the offense that they have to improve on.
But we know, yes, they can go down the field.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, just look at the yardage at almost every game. I think they're averaging over 300 yards per game.
Not just yards, but look at the points Boswell's getting.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be going down the field and not getting those points if they weren't going down the field.
Yeah,
so
it's just finish. You have to finish.
Agreed.
That is what's most important.
It starts here, man. I think the matchups and the stats pulled together make it a good reason why the Steelers can really start improving on this game, first and foremost. Let me see where we at in the chat. We always play well against the Ravens, but the Browns, when we play them nowadays, post Big Ben is always sketchy. Ben always cooked the Browns since he left. It's been iffy as fuck. Says, are you serious, 83? Correct. At the same time, the last 2 quarterbacks we've had against those Browns teams was
if you're not down with
Mitch
that,
and Kenny. Eddie T.
We've got 2 words for you.
Eddie T with a 499. Remember, Kenny last year, Thursday night game. Let's see what Russ has. Left my ass off. If Steelers win second in AFC conference, I believe. They would be. They would be second, I believe. I think you're correct.
You might be right, AT. Yeah, imagine that. I got more motivation.
Honestly, the more wins, the more games they win, the better chance that they can match up well with the Chiefs come Christmas. I don't know if this team can really compete with the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't as threatening as they used to be. I don't know if the coaching can still match up with the Chiefs, but either way, you got to keep winning. You got to keep winning and match up with them well, because that Christmas game, man, that's towards pretty much the tail end of the season. So that's going to be a very important game.
As long as Netflix and their servers hold up.
Yeah. Correct. They will.
I hope so.
You do realize Tyson and Paul had 60 million viewers.
But they advertised the game for months. How do you not have your servers ready for such a thing?
I don't know. They weren't expecting 60 million. I don't know.
It is Tyson and Paul. It is live Netflix. Who doesn't have Netflix?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. Okay? Imagine what football is going to bring.
I get your point. They're not getting 60 million views.
It's football. Who doesn't?
They're
Then
not
again,
getting 60 million
and it's on
streaming views.
Christmas, and it's on Christmas, so
They're not getting 60 million, so it'll be a little less buffering.
I hope so. If it buffers with less viewership, then that's a problem.
I just don't need the game to go into 2-minute offense and then a buffer towards the middle of a Russell
Yeah, you
Wilson
see
deep
watch strip
pass.
sack Mahomes, and then, oh my God, what happened, right?
Right. And then we get back on the stream holding defense number 75. Not 75. That number's retired, but you get my point.
99, I don't know. Sorry, Ogunjobi. Or on offense, Broderick Jones. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, because who else is going to do it? No offense.
Yeah. He's definitely gonna need to step up in this game too, man.
Oh, yeah.
One guy that's gonna have to continue to step up, and he's done well against Myles Garrett, is Dan Moore.
Yeah, he's had his fair share of games with Myles Garrett.
Sure
he's
has.
experienced in that trait. So, and Dan Moore, I mean, this is without a doubt his best season.
Yeah.
I believe he's still giving up only 1 sack, maybe 2, whatever.
Ron Bucher says, remember I told you this was your season. I mean, I hope. Don't make me feel too confident now, God damn it. Don't make me feel too confident now, Ryan.
Don't give me hope.
Mike Williams about to go off 2 touchdowns if he starts.
If he starts.
If he starts. He ain't going to start. It'll still be Van Jefferson.
Which I don't get. Like, you're going to give Van Jefferson all these snaps and opportunities in the receiving game, but not the tight ends either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just doesn't add up in my opinion.
There's a chance of snow in Cleveland? Is there?
Well, is that the recent update?
It's just a lot of rain. That's all I heard. Maybe there's an update.
Snowy weather on Thursday night in Cleveland? I'm not going to say no to that.
Then you really run the ball.
Oh, no doubt about it. You run regardless.
That's holiday weather. That's holiday weather. Oh, Ryan, you're absolutely correct. He says Jets needs a Super Bowl win after this year. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm
That'd be great,
glad
Ryan.
to hear she's doing really well. She texted me this morning.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
She's doing really good.
Good to hear.
Is she home yet?
No, I heard she goes home tomorrow.
Okay.
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 But still, great to hear that she's doing great.
Good.
She's a tough one.
Yeah, she is. I'm off Friday, so I'll be over Friday. Just, check up on everything.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I took off the day after the Steelers game because either I'm going to be too upset to go into work or I'm going to be too tired off of a celebration to go in. So, win-win, I get off Friday.
That's perfect.
Win-win, I get off Friday. I suppose, yeah, we gotta talk about T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, don't we?
I suppose, right?
How did Myles Garrett win Defensive Player of the Year last year?
Because of the pass rush win rate from PFF. That's why.
Wow. Pass rush win
You
rate.
notice that hasn't really popped up on social media as often this year?
Hey, I wonder what Nick Herbig's pass rush win rate was last week.
Freaking Nick Herbert. What about Highsmith? Huh?
Yeah.
Highsmith has been the king of pass rush win rates.
Shout out to Icy Rhodes. Icy Rhodes. He's been an STM member for 15 months. Says, what's your guys' dream signed jersey? I'm glad you said that because I have the perfect answer for you. Give me a minute.
If you're not down with that,
Another one. Eddie T.
we've got 2
With a
words
$1.99.
for you.
AT with 199 says, realize these games Russ played is his preseason. Technically, you're right.
Yeah, he played 1 and it was like, no, 2, but it was very limited. So, I mean, you're not wrong in that aspect.
Yes, this is technically his preseason. So, and it's a
Well,
warm-up phase.
if this is his preseason, then like, all right. Myles Garrett doesn't deserve a Defensive Player award.
No, he never did. T.J. Watt was robbed last year, and Myles Garrett was gifted it.
Because he never won one.
What was he, 7th or 8th in sacks and still got? How do you set?
Between November and December football, he only garnered 1 sack.
Wow.
You know what Nick Herbig, a 4th stringer last year, keep in mind, had? 2.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, what are we doing here?
That didn't make sense to me.
No.
Now listen, like I hold on. When was the last time these two fought on Thursday night?
Wasn't that the game Pickens caught the one-handed catch from Trubisky?
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Browns won that
Well,
one.
Thursday night for the Steelers and Browns has a ton of history. One including Myles Garrett. So
that's
I mean, him and Mason buried the hatchet. So yeah, I gained a little respect from him. But is he as efficient? Is he as good as TJ? No.
Well,
No.
Are you serious? 83 says after what Myles Garrett pulled in that game against Rudolph and then claimed he called him a racial slur. I love how everyone just forgot about that. That was
I didn't.
bullshit.
But the thing is, Mason and him buried the hatchet. So
They did. So that's water under the bridge.
yeah, all's well there. But I totally didn't forget that. Not at all.
No.
In fact, when he came out, I think it was years ago, but we made a video about that. So I definitely never forgot about that.
No.
Because he tried to say the reason he did it was because Mason said something to him, and clearly he didn't.
No, in that moment, Miles was just basically trying to ruin Rudolph's image.
Well, I think if my memory stands correct, he said that a week after everything happened, and none of the players that were in the surrounding area confirmed it.
Not even Ogunjobi.
Who was involved in it? I mean,
no. So nobody claimed that. Yeah, Garrett, what he said is correct.
Garrett's a clown. But Icy Roads, yeah. To answer your question, what is my dream jersey or signed jersey? It is that.
Yeah, it's steel curtain with all the legends there.
It is the steel curtain with all of the front four of the 70s defense.
Elsie Greenwood, Joe Green.
Ernie Holmes.
Yeah, man.
I mean, all of them. That is my dream signed jersey right there. It's expensive.
To get that would be a gem, dude.
I mean, you see the price, bro. It's a whole. I mean, wow. But that is my dream signed jersey right there.
Hell yeah, brother.
I've been eyeing something like this for years, and I don't know when I'm gonna pull the trigger. Perhaps if I can win one of these dream 17-leg parlays, maybe, but that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, you're trying. I know you are. I know you are.
17's excessive, but yeah.
And leave it to one player to screw you over, huh?
Yes. Mixon almost screwed me over last night. Or no, the Texans did.
Texans did because they, for some reason, wanted to keep passing. But no, Mixon got you your carries.
Yeah, he got me what I needed.
You're all good.
So yeah, I'm all happy about that. But yeah, that is my dream signed jersey right there. Out of everything, that one. And if we ever get it, it'll be front center in the background. Joey Weaver. You lucky motherfucker with a 199 says, I have that jersey framed. He. Good for you, man. Good for you, Joey. That's awesome.
That's got to be one hell of a gem to have in your man cave.
That's awesome, bro. That's what I'm trying to get. That's where I'm trying to be.
Down the road, brother. We'll get it.
Oh, we'll get it, yeah. I mean, nothing's going to stop me there.
We'll get there.
What's the SteelTwins prediction for the rest of the year? You mean like record prediction? You mean record prediction?
Yeah, I think that's what he means.
Okay, well, fine. Let's. So we're 8-2 now. I say we beat the Browns on Thursday, so that's 9-2. I say we beat the Bengals.
Which the Bengals are first place with Joe Burrow in passing yards and touchdowns.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase in receiving yards. Trey Hendrickson in sacks, and they're 4-7.
Yeah, 2010 Chargers energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say we.
If you're not
Wow,
down
another
with
one.
that,
Icy Rose with a 5.
we've got 2 words for
No,
you.
I see. He says we shall super chat our way to that signed jersey.
Oh, my Lord, Icy.
That's gracious, but that's a lot, bro. That's a lot. Yeah, I know, swear jar. I got you, Ryan. Don't worry. We still got to put $10 in there from the Ravens game.
Oh, no doubt about it.
But yeah, 9-2 versus the Browns, 10-2 versus the Bengals, 11-2 versus the Browns again.
So we sweep the Browns.
11-3. I think we lose to the Eagles.
And that's in Philly, too, so I see why you say
If
that.
you're not down with that,
Joey Wheeler,
we've
199.
got 2 words for you.
Auto Franco Harris jersey, my next purchase. Very rare.
Hell yeah, Joey.
Well, we got a tray here.
That is a...
You can tell the difference because of the gray face mask.
Yeah, that's an autographed Franco
signed
helmet, and he put Immaculate Reception on that, too.
And the date, 12/23/1972.
Yeah. That's another...
That's awesome.
That's another gem to have if you're a Steelers fan.
And this one is Troy, so those are cool.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, 11-3 come week 15. I'm going to say...
Do we sweep Baltimore? You think we sweep Baltimore? When's the last time the Ravens won in Baltimore against the Steelers?
I don't know.
I think it's been a while, right?
Well, we have the Ravens numbered until otherwise I can't go against it. So
That'll be
12-3.
Yep.
And I think we lose to the Chiefs.
So it'll be 12-4.
And then we beat the Bengals.
So 13-4.
Do I really say we sweep the entire AFC North?
Dude, it's
fuck them.
It's hella possible.
Hey,
It's really possible.
Like I said, man. Like I said.
13-4 would be hella good.
Like I said, we went 5-1 last year against these teams with 3 quarterbacks, and we're the only team to have improved. Every other team has regressed in some way. The Steelers are the only team that's improved in every area that you could ask for.
And that's because we needed to. And they knew it. Omar Khan knew it. He had a lot to work with.
So is that a little gutsy? Sure. Is that a little bold? Maybe a little biased? I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to entirely say no. I'm not going to deny it, but I feel very confident in saying that. But I don't think we beat the Eagles, and I don't think we beat the Chiefs.
At least until proven otherwise until that game.
Worst case, I think we sit at what? 12-5. I think we sit at 12-5.
Yeah, maybe 11-6. Because I don't see us losing too many. I don't see the Steelers losing too many games in the second half.
Me neither. So that's why I say, like, if we lose any games in this stretch, I'm saying, like, the most we lose is 3. So probably like a 12-5 record is what I'm thinking is probably the ceiling.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those losses, perhaps one of those losses will be against one of the divisional rivals. It could be the Ravens we could split. It could be against either of the Cleveland teams. But I just got a great sense that maybe we can actually run the table. It wouldn't be the first time we swept the entire division. In fact, didn't we sweep the division just a couple years ago?
What year are you thinking?
I don't know.
Because I can't remember. My memory ain't that good.
Let me think. Hold on.
It wasn't 2020. No, it wasn't. I was going to say 2022. Hell no. No way.
Yeah, 5-1 in the division last year.
Yeah.
What year was that? Why do I feel like it was so much closer?
It was definitely not. Was it 2020?
Maybe you're right.
Was it 2020?
I think you're right.
It had to have been.
I think you're right. Yeah, because in 2021 we went 4-2.
It had to have been 2020.
So 2020 in the division we went.
Because I'll tell you right now, it wasn't 2019.
I know. No, in 2020 we were 4-2.
Was? Yeah, I don't know.
Why did I feel like it was so much closer? The years go by so fast.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Years go by so fast. I forget what year it was.
You guys need to grab some Boz jerseys. Show that man some respect.
I already asked for it for Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Holidays coming around, like hint, hint, family.
I already asked for it for Christmas. Don't worry. Help is on the way.
God bless Boswell, by the way.
The guy's a god, man.
Special Teams Player of the Week, no doubt about it, if the awards haven't been gifted out yet.
Yeah.
Should be gifted out tomorrow, so I fully expect Boswell to win it.
So do I.
So should everybody.
He's going to get it.
He beat the Ravens.
By himself. Well, not by himself, but mostly.
Yeah. He scored the points, so.
The Ravens scored 2 touchdowns. We scored 0 and still won.
Hell yeah.
That's hilarious. That's kind of, yeah, it's very hilarious, actually.
Joey Weaver says, I have over $6,000 invested in my Steelers museum / man cave.
That's amazing.
Unreal, man. I'm jealous.
I feel upstage. I feel very upstage.
I don't know who's going to top that, bro. I don't know.
In fact, let me see something here.
Joey Weaver also says, I don't know if we improved the wide receiver, but Pickens is 4th in the league in receiving yards, so what's up?
That's incredible.
Pickens is a dog.
Pickens is him, man. Pickens is him.
He's a beast, man.
Well, with that being said, I'm looking at the receiving lines here for some of these receivers, so that makes us a perfect time to thank the sponsor of today's live stream. Huge shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring with us on this Steelers versus Browns Thursday Night Football Week 12 preview while we look at the prop builder that they have here for the over-unders for the Browns and the Steelers game. You look at the over-unders in terms of passing yards. Russell Wilson is at 173. Now, remember, it's going to be very wet out, so perhaps consider taking the under for either. When we look at rushing yards, you got to look at Najee, you got to look at Warren. Warren's over 37.5, and Najee is over 66.5. I kind of like Warren's numbers there. I think he's going to get the ball a lot. So I'm gonna favor Warren there. See, I wish they had like a Justin Fields thing here, but they don't. I get why they don't, but receiving yards, George Pickens over 55.5. Now, he's covered that every game since Russ came in. So, could he do that again in that weather?
I would be very I'd be confident saying that. I'm
going to pick the over.
Pickens is not from this planet.
No, he's not.
Let me just put it that way.
I know the weather is crazy, but I still think that line is so low. You got to take it. Or if you want to do like an alt, receiving line, take 50 at least. And anytime touchdowns. Rob, who do you thinking? Najee, Chubb, Pickens, Warren.
You put me on here right now. Well, considering you asked me about your anytime touchdown wagers, I'm going to go Najee.
You think Najee scores again?
I'm going to go Najee. I'm going to go bold here. I'm going to go Russ.
Russ?
Yeah. Maybe a QB sneak.
So, hold on. You saying we go 2 touchdowns here?
Yes. Yes, I am. I don't see how you don't.
You want me to add Russ here?
Why not? I'm gonna go bold here. If they're at the 1, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to QB sneak it.
Is Justin Fields on here? Justin Fields is not on here. They didn't add Justin Fields' line yet. Okay, you know what? Why not? Those are incredibly intense odds right there. Plus 4,400. My God. I mean, we'll just put $1 on it. Why not? Oh, the minimum wages is 5. Okay, that's a challenge I'm willing to accept. We'll put at least 5 there. Place. Who knows, man? Maybe magic happens on Thursday. We're going to go with Rob's bold predictions.
If I'm right on this, I'm a wizard.
He hasn't exactly been wrong, let me tell you, because there's been times he's been right and I haven't taken it.
So why do you ask me?
I don't know. But I'm going to go with you this time.
All right, good.
If you guys want to tail that, feel free to do so at betus.com, man. Take advantage of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% on your next 2 deposits when you use the promo code YouTube150 when signing up at betus.com today. Take advantage of all those great perks from our great friends over at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino while getting the fastest payouts in the industry. Fast and easy deposit withdrawal process, live wagering on all major sports, including the Thursday night game, and personalized service 24/7 plus that promo code, man. Take advantage of all that. Huge shout out to BetUS for sponsoring with us on this live stream. Just please gamble responsibly.
Yes, sir.
The poll is still active. 47% of you guys still say 2. I like it, man. I really do. We need to use Fields more, and according to Arthur Smith, we will. Well, he better be right. He better be right. I'll tell you right now. He better be correct.
I love to see more Fields.
I think we all do. Ryan says don't do it. I did it. It's $5. What's $5?
Too late, Ryan.
Yo, what if you're right, though? Warren has not had a touchdown. I was gonna go with Warren, but Rob said Najee.
I think they'll give the rock to Najee a lot. I do. They'll, still use Warren.
I'll probably do a separate one where I take Warren. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Roman Wilson?
He is on IR, bro.
He's on IR, and I don't think he's going to play at all this season.
At this point, no, I don't either. Well, here's the thing. Like, we'll see what they do with Mike Williams Thursday, but if they don't give him opportunities in that game, then it's like, how are they even going to give opportunities to Wilson if he even comes back?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think we see any bit of Wilson, not even on special teams.
Yeah.
He may just be a healthy scratch if he's ever activated off IR.
He's going to just redshirt, essentially. He's going to redshirt. We swept AFC North in 2017. That's where it was.
Okay, there we go.
Well, I would argue this team is the best it's been since 2017, so let's ride.
They're more convincing than 2020, I'll say that.
I agree. 100% more convincing. Bold prediction, Russ puts up 4 touchdowns. My bold prediction is Warren gets 2 touchdowns. Rushing.
All right, fair. My bold prediction is Russ gets a rushing touchdown.
Okay.
Because he doesn't really get it often. But
I appreciate these bold predictions. Another one I kind of want to bank on is Steelers' defensive touchdown.
they don't have one yet this year, do they?
Not that I know.
I don't think that, which is weird. Because we always had to rely on them to score.
Well, we had one we had 2 last year versus the Browns versus Watson.
It was the Highsmith pick 6,
And
which was early in the game, and the Watt fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Yeah,
so, hey, I mean, like, if they ever want to duplicate what they did last year.
I'm taking the Steelers touchdown.
All right.
Defensive touchdown.
That'd be great.
Most surprising Steeler and most disappointing as of right now, says Electric Visuals. Most surprising right now, I would say probably Beanie Bishop.
You probably put a lot in that boat. Beanie, Elliott, I honestly, I didn't envision Elliott being so dominant.
I knew he'd be an upgrade, but I don't think he'd be this good.
No.
But Bishop has been good.
He's been outstanding. So has Bishop, yeah, indeed.
So I'd say Bishop. For an undrafted guy who didn't have a good start, I'd say Bishop.
And you see, because of how he's been playing, Son hasn't really taken a lot of his reps at all, which is good.
As for most disappointing, do I really have to say his name? You guys know exactly who I'm thinking of. All I gotta do is hit a certain button. You guys know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. I don't have to say his name.
Let's
The chat, you can say his name.
Let's just hope that he steps
Stops
up.
holding?
Oh yes. That he steps up against the Browns.
You better.
Because he's not going up against Zadarius Smith.
It doesn't make sense.
He's now in Detroit,
He
right?
had a good game versus the Commanders, and then now he wants to have 2 holding penalties on the same drive, and thankfully Pickens bailed him out twice. And he still allowed a sack last week.
I don't know. He's going up against Isaiah McGuire, who was a 4th-round rookie last year. I don't want to underestimate him one bit because I thought he had potential coming out of Missouri as well. But
I'm not underestimating anyone against Broderick at this point.
it's so true.
And this is a dude I love coming out of Georgia, and I still think he's out of position. But, dude, bro.
Yeah.
I still love Broderick, man. I'm still high on the guy as a left tackle, but you knew you were going to be at right tackle all season, and you had a whole year on your belt, and you're regressing. How?
Just play better, man. That's all I can say. Just play better.
It's like our weekly Broderick rant. All of the Broderick, man. All I want is him to be good. We're stuck with him, so I'm rooting for success. But
Or we're not allowed to call out the negative.
well, as a fan, I feel like we have the right.
Unless Broderick has something to say on social media.
Well, he hasn't said nothing in a couple weeks, as far as I'm concerned. I don't follow that, so I don't know.
I haven't seen anything so far.
What was your first season watching football? It was 2008, 2009. I think it was 08.
Yeah, my earliest memory is 2008.
2008. But I didn't start full time, like not missing a single game
Like in depth.
until like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, same here.
I haven't missed a game since 2014, I can confidently say. I haven't missed one game. Not one. Jump ahead. What position do you think we look at next year, draft round 1? Well, I don't want to say tackle again because, the Steelers aren't taking tackle 3 straight years.
I don't think so, no. Well, if we had to talk like real early, I could go anywhere.
I don't want to roll out corner because I don't know if Dante comes back. I know everyone likes Corey Trice, but let's settle him still as a depth piece for now.
Unless he really shows out when he comes back off. That's a big if.
Well, he should be coming back because he's been a full participant all week.
And I hope so.
Corey Trice could be coming back versus the Browns. That's a good thing.
I hope so.
Receiver. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. I would much rather sign a receiver than draft one because us drafting receivers outside of Pickens hasn't been good in recent years. I'd much rather just grab someone proven. T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, please.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 biggest wishes right now.
Those are the guys on top of your bucket list right there.
But if there's a top receiver on the board, you can't say no. You can't say no. They haven't drafted a receiver in the first round since Holmes, but maybe next year's the first time they do it. In 19 years.
Under Omar Khan, everything's on the table. You know what I'm saying?
Could it be quarterback? Who knows what the season will be after? What's Russ's future? What's Fields' future?
Yeah.
Do they both return?
Very well could be.
Does one return? I would think one returns, but who?
It's very difficult to really pinpoint and choose which position. People even throwing out running back because of Najee's uncertainty.
I wouldn't do that again.
I know. Some people are very.
And by the way, Gentie's not making it. He's a Cowboy.
I don't see how he doesn't become a Cowboy.
He's going to be a Cowboy come April. Receiver, let me think. I don't think it's going to be line again. I think Sayamalu will come back. McCormick's going to be a great guard.
I don't see Daniels coming back either.
Me neither.
So McCormick's got right guard filled in. He's been very good.
They're going to either resign Dan Moore or bring back Broderick, put him at left, and run with Fatanu at right.
As long as they get better depth at that.
Maybe defensive line, but Hayward just signed a 3-year extension. They still got Benton under a rookie contract. Ogunjobi has 1 more year.
He's been playing lights out, so I don't really.
I don't know.
I don't know if they do a cap,
honestly,
cap casualty.
probably receiver.
Maybe.
I'm thinking receiver. But again, I would much rather sign someone. But if they can't, the receiver's gonna be stacked.
I don't know how they don't though, because of just how aggressive they were in the trade market for one, and considering how the free agency pool for wide receiver, expectedly right now is. I don't know how they don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't see how Omar isn't aggressive at signing a wide receiver, a big name receiver at that.
I want Higgins or Godwin, and no, I'm not worried about their injuries.
No, not at all.
I'm not worried about their injuries at all.
And I still think they could pay Pickens on top of all that.
Matthew, remember for 23 months, almost 2 years, man, says let's get 6 wins in a row. Here we go, Steelers. Yes, sir. That's where my mindset is at right now. I just want to win 2 straight. Well, not 2 straight. I want to 2 straight in the division, but 6 straight. Advance to 9-2. That's where my mindset's at right now.
Digital Dust says wide receiver Emeka Ogbuka. I don't even know if I pronounced that right.
Yeah, from Ohio State.
Ohio State guy, yeah.
Ohio State just breeds receivers. Why would you not draft one of them?
Coincidentally, last wide receiver we drafted in the first round was Antonio Holmes,
I know.
Ohio State. So
How about Ted McMillan though? He's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. Even the dude from Miami, the U with Cam Ward. What's his name? Restrepo. I think he's gonna be a good receiver. He's a little undersized, sure, but I don't think that's gonna be much of a worry. How about I'm not gonna say Travis Hunter because he's probably gonna be a top 5, top 10 pick. I'm not gonna get into that.
And I don't think his uncertainty of like which position he plays, I don't think that affects his draft stock. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. Though I could see GMs kind of like allowing it to cause them to drop off their draft board.
What about,
I don't know.
Luther Burden.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Luther Burden.
A receiver stacked, man. Receiver is very stacked. Even the dude from NC State's going to be good. Calvin Ridley wouldn't be too bad. Didn't he just sign a deal
He just signed a mega deal with Tennessee. They're not going to cut him like that.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Olave, 1 concussion away from retirement, respectfully. Yeah, you're right. He's a great talent, man. He's a phenomenal talent. Loved Olave coming out of the Buckeyes, man. He just can't stay healthy.
Unfortunately not, no.
Such a good talent. What if we trade for Travis Hunter? I'm never going to roll out a trade up.
They could do it if they really wanted it.
Travis Hunter would be crazy, dude.
Just think about Omar Khan. He just knows talent. He just seeks talent. He sees talent.
That's a Mike Tomlin guy, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about. That's just a Mike Tomlin guy. I don't know, man. Come April, maybe Travis Hunter's a Steeler. I'm just not banking on it because I think he's going to be top 5, top 10. Perhaps maybe the uncertainty of him allows him to drop because it wouldn't be the first time we've seen it. But I just think he's too good. I think he's too good. Have you guys ever been to any other NFL stadiums? Says Elephant. No. Only Heinz Field.
Yep, just Heinz Field so far.
I did drive past Cincinnati one time and saw the toilet bowl, but that's as close as I got to any other NFL stadium.
I did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that big old B in the middle. I said, oh, that's disgusting. Hilariously, that was the same year Harrison signed with them. We finally have good backups this year. They play like starters. The depth is incredible. Corey Trice is good when he's healthy. Nick Herbig's great. Preston Smith is great. I mean...
Hold on, is this legit here?
Mason McCormick has been great since stepping in. What?
I don't mean to go off topic here, but I just seen this report from The Athletic, so it's pretty credible.
Is it just new? Like just recent?
From an hour ago. Apparently, hold on, let me read this right real quick. Days after the Jets lost to the Broncos, Woody Johnson, Jets owner, suggested to the coaches that they bench Aaron Rodgers.
What?
And they just fired Joe Douglas.
What?
Because he thought Rodgers wasn't playing. He's not wrong.
I find all that to be absolutely hilarious. The Jets are a dumpster fire.
And they traded for Devontae Adams?
Wait, there's disappointment amongst Giants players who didn't want Daniel Jones to be benched?
What is wrong with New York sports?
New York, bro, you guys have... Oh, my God. You guys
What
got
do you
some-
mean
you don't
disappointment?
You don't want the Italian stadion? as your starter. You don't want Tommy DeVito. Wow.
Who doesn't want Tommy DeVito?
Shout out to Nice Tugs. Remember, for 26 months, is ready for Thursday. We got to smash the Browns. That's where I'm at. That's where my mindset's at, man.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm just trying to get to Thursday. How would you guys rank AFC North fan bases in terms of toxicness in order? Ooh.
Elephant, great question.
I'm not going to rank us because that's just, I just don't feel like that's right. But the toxic, like the most toxic, I'm going to put the Browns.
From what I've seen, yes.
Then the Ravens, then the Bengals. There's a lot of toxic Ravens fans out there, man.
I mean, I would argue
If you're
Bengals
not
fans
down
over,
with
but I
that,
see why you say that.
We
Lewan
got 2 words for you.
with a 99. Well, there's like 1 or 2 specific Ravens fans on TikTok that irritate the shit
Yeah,
out
I
of
know
me.
who you're talking about. I get it. I know.
I'm just going to say this. People do the dumbest shit for clicks. It's just absolutely amazing how dumbfounded this generation is and what they do for attention. It's just absolutely mind-boggling to me. Yes, Eric Rowe is back. I don't know why
Yes.
I don't know why it took him that long, but
He's back on the practice squad, bro.
good to have him back, man.
That's awesome.
His little streak run last year was really good. It was a genuine surprise.
He really came in handy, credible depth there.
One of the bright spots in a crazy year last season.
Real good to have him back. I'm happy he's back.
Adam should have came here, man. Still pisses me off. I find it hilarious. Like, now he's stuck there.
Yeah, because you look at the Jets and their problems, right? They fired Robert Saleh, though I understand why they did it. The way that they did it was wrong. Weeks later, they're still not winning it. They only won 1 game since Adams has been traded, right, to the Jets, and they fired their GM this morning. And apparently, he had very little to do with the Adams trade.
Oh, my
With
God.
getting him in. Apparently, it was certain higher ups that were making all the moves and made the trade.
Sounds like some sort of power struggle.
Whether that's A-Rod, which probably was, or Woody Johnson. And now, apparently, Woody Johnson, according to The Athletic, wanted to bench Rodgers because he wasn't playing that well.
He needs to sell the team. That's what he needs to do.
Saleh wasn't the main problem. He was a problem, in my opinion, but he wasn't the main problem. But the main problem is obviously A-Rod and Woody. But that's your Jets' problem.
Ohio Game Talk says, Steel Twins, I promise not all of us Bengals fans are that bad. That's why I put y'all at the bottom. I put the Browns at the top, Ravens in the middle, and you guys at the bottom. I'll look out for you guys, don't worry. I'll look out for y'all. Rob and Dan, what do you think about this? Mike T should give Russ Thursday off and let Fields take care of the clowns. Russ is still having some trouble with his calf. I don't see no trouble with his calf.
I haven't heard anything about that.
I don't know if I'm missing a reporter or two, but I'm not seeing anything in regards to his calf. He looks as healthy as he can be. He's still as mobile as he was in Seattle towards the tail end of his career. But
Yeah.
best Christmas movies ranked, mine is Home Alone, Elf, and then Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown is wow, that's a dark mention.
Yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas, man. It's a classic.
Respect to that.
It's a classic.
Die Hard. I'm kidding.
It's a Christmas movie, by the way.
Sure. No.
It is. It's not your prototypical one. I'll say that.
Well, I'm just trying. Can we eat turkey first? No. Listen.
Since you asked the question here,
I'm already getting into the Christmas festivities. I've already started buying decorations.
you decorated our mailbox.
I did. I'm as festive can get when I'm in the mood, bro.
Whatever you want to do.
National Lampoons is number 1.
I don't think anything tops that, in my opinion.
National Lampoons is number 1.
I would say National Lampoon, Christmas Vacation. I would say Home Alone, number 2. Number 3 for me is Elf. Number 4, I would put A Christmas Story. I don't know if I really want to put it that low. It's just I find Home Alone and Elf more enjoyable.
Christmas Story's not even top 5.
What? Really?
It's overplayed.
Really?
It's overplayed.
I see why you say that, but I always find it as an enjoyable watch. Not as enjoyable as Home Alone and Elf. But number 5, I would probably put... I could easily say Santa Claus, but I'm gonna say Christmas with the Cranks. Tim Allen was in that one too.
Sure.
With Jamie Lee.
All right, I'm going to go National Lampoon. I'm going to go either Home Alone. Either's good.
And no, I didn't put the Grinch in either one of them.
Well, I like the Grinch. So
Well, listen, I like the Grinch too, but I just prefer the other movies.
I'm gonna go Elf. At 3. Let's go. I like the Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch. I like the Grinch. And at number 5, this is gonna be a hot take. Jingle All the Way
Okay, yeah.
with Arnold. Classic. Love that movie.
If you're not down with that,
Joey Wheeler with 199.
got 2 words for
Jerry
you.
Jones needs to orchestrate an accidental fire. Yeah, that's the only
Did
way.
he orchestrate the piece of metal falling from the roof when he opened the...
2 of them.
2?
2 of them.
I thought it was 1.
There's 2.
There was 2.
There was 2.
Oh.
There was 2.
Did he orchestrate that?
Baby.
Well, it was the first time the roof was open since 2022, apparently.
Die Hard. Listen, Christmas Story and Die Hard are good movies, man. And yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I denied it for the longest time, but it's a Christmas movie. It's not the traditional Christmas movie, but it's a Christmas movie. But, yeah, I mean, those are 2 great movies, man. Rudolph, yeah. It's Turbo Time Turtle, man. Now I got to watch the movie, but I got to eat turkey first. We got turkey next Thursday. Yeah, sayonara to the Cleveland Browns. You guys are getting dumped on.
Whoa.
I don't mean it like that.
That's one way to call it. Okay.
I don't mean it like that. Besides the playoff game, what's the worst Steelers performance against the Browns you witnessed? Kenny? Kenny?
Dude, that was the game that he pulled the Kenny Pickett.
Kenny, listen.
He spun way too many times. It wasn't even funny.
Listen, I lost faith versus the Jags weeks prior, but that Browns game ended it for me.
Listen, I tried with the guy. I did. But that Browns game really pissed me
No,
off.
because we should have won that game if Kenny knew how to throw a fucking
Dude,
football.
I got up and legit spun out of frustration because that man couldn't stop spinning.
That's the game he hit John Cena for a target down deep. One of my favorite Christmas movies was The Red-Nosed Reindeer, Mason Rudolph, Insanity Run last year. It's my favorite Christmas run as well.
Hell yeah.
You
He
know,
saved our season,
it's
dude.
so good that every year I go back and watch.
If it wasn't for that man,
We'd still have Kenny.
yeah. So deep down, I want to thank Mason Rudolph for this season.
Mason
I do.
Rudolph saved the Steelers because if it wasn't for him putting up the games he did, the Steelers probably would have ran it back with who they had. And thank God they didn't, because look at where we're at now.
So shout out to Mason Rudolph.
Shout out to Mason Rudolph. That is my guy. I am so proud to have his jersey.
That man, deep down, is the Steelers savior. 100%.
Yes. He saved Christmas and he saved the Steelers this year. So technically he saved Christmas for a second straight year. Shout out to Mason, man. I remember Rob was squinting out of his chair last year. You aren't on Dancing with the Stars, you fucking ballerina. What I found funny was, like, when he did it, you shouted, like, stop spinning. And you said it in the funniest way. It's almost like you sung it. But the way you said it was like you spoke for a lot of us, because that's exactly how we felt.
He just kept spinning, dude. It wasn't even funny. Dude, it was so bad. He just kept, like, dude, like the slightest bit of pressure, and I'm not doing the spin, by the way.
B button.
He would just spin.
Let me hit the B, or if you're a PlayStation guy, let me hit the circle button.
Like he's a ballerina, just like spinning. He's probably still spinning down in Philly.
Sure is, man. Sure is, but I'm so glad where we stand now, man. 8-2.
Oh, without a doubt.
8-2 with Russ, with Fields. That Chargers win is aging very well. Yes, it is.
Looking back at it, yeah.
That one is, and I'd say even the Broncos. That Broncos win's aging very well too.
Bo Nix, I mean, he's been kind of lighting the league on fire.
Dude, I called Bo Nix the next Kenny Pickett, and here he is throwing 4 touchdowns. Like, what?
Kenny could never.
No.
Nope.
Bo Nix, I apologize
So
for being
props
so
to,
disrespectful.
Listen, I didn't expect this play from Bo Nix, so props to him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he just changed his style or if it's Sean Payton working with him. Whatever it is, it's working so far.
What's the worst regular season Browns game during the Ben era? There isn't one.
No.
There isn't one.
No. I would.
Here, I got you.
Wait. During well, you said regular season, so no.
Here, I got
I
you.
can't think. No.
I got you. Hold on. Let me look at the stats. Shout to Stat Muse.
Ben Roethlisberger had a 26-2-1 record versus the Browns. What'd you say, the tie with the Browns?
The tie. Yeah. Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
That tie was stupid.
How do you start the season with the tying with the Browns?
Let me see. I want to see. They're not showing me the actual full stats. There we go. There was a game he threw 2 touchdowns and 3 picks.
When was that? Was that early in his career?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
That was.
okay then.
Give me a minute. I'll tell you exactly when that was. Obviously, I was young enough to watch, so I wouldn't know, but according to the stats, it was 2006.
Okay. Who the Browns have in 2006?
And I think they still won. I don't know who the Browns. They had everybody.
Wasn't it Derek Anderson
Maybe.
or Charlie Fry or whatever? I don't know.
How y'all feeling about Dan Moore? Sign him or let him walk next year? You put me on the spot. Listen, man.
Honestly,
you guys know us. We've been incredibly critical of Dan Moore, but he's our best tackle right now. I wouldn't mind running it back one more time. Thing is, he's going to want a contract, and he might get a market. He's been a 4-year starter coming off his best season. He might get a market. I don't know if the Steelers are going to want to overpay, but I wouldn't mind bringing him back.
I'd be up for it.
I don't think he's a long-term solution, but I wouldn't mind running it back another year or two.
If Moore even wants to settle for that, like you said, he might get a market, and considering the Steelers drafted tackles back-to-back draft classes, I don't know if they want to pay him that money to keep him and then just have a first-round tackle as a swing guy.
Well, here's my thinking. If it's team-friendly, I'm only signing him back so Broderick can continue to sit.
If that's the case,
And then you would put him in his last year.
If that's the case, that's something that Broderick could use.
Otherwise, perhaps they just put him back at left and have him start there starting next season.
Right.
But here's the problem with Broderick. He's been away from left tackle for 2 straight years now. How ready is he going to be when he was already raw coming out of the draft at that position, and he's been away for it for another 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say perhaps maybe sign him for a year or two, have Broderick sit at left tackle only. He'll still be the swing guy, but primarily left tackle. And then you put him in his 4th last year.
They could do that. Or they may just want to throw him out there left tackle and just be like, all right, let's see what you can do.
That's kind of my thinking. I don't know what the Steelers do, but that's kind of my thinking. Only because he's been away for so long from left tackle.
I don't know.
I don't think they trade Broderick. He'd be the swing guy while still sitting and developing.
Which is something that it looks like Broderick absolutely needs.
It's awful. It's an awful look, but that might be his last saving grace. He needs to sit. It's the last saving grace for him. If he wants to secure a job on the great team, if he wants to walk by. I mean, that's kind of how the business works, right? It's kind of how the business runs, man. So, I mean, we'll see what happens towards the end of the season. But before that, we still got however many games and potentially the playoffs. Most likely the playoffs for the Steelers. We still got potentially January football for the Steelers, man. What will they look like? What will their record be come that time? That's to be determined. But all I know is come Friday morning, I want it to be sitting at 9-2. That's all I worry about right now.
Indeed, man.
That is my mission. That is my focus. I'm trying to get to Thursday, and I'm trying to see the Steelers advance to 9-2. I'm trying to beat the piss out of the Browns.
That's our goal, man.
Keep them at the bottom of the division, and let's get the win back in Cleveland after the last 2 years. So, with that being said, I think that's going to do it for tonight's live stream. We appreciate you guys for joining us for the Steelers versus Browns preview. As always, thank you guys for the engagement. As always, it's always a good time, man, especially on a short week like this. It keeps everything coming, and you guys know, man, Thursday, Steelers versus Browns, Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, which I don't know why it's on Amazon, but it is. That's just the deal they made, but that's where it's going to be.
Trying to stretch out to streaming services and whatnot, I guess. It's the new regular nowadays.
It's the new way to go, yeah. But that's where the game's going to be. But we will all be watching. You guys know we'll be live for the game as well. So it's going to be an intense night. It's going to be something crazy. I'm hoping the Steelers don't fall for the trap, quote unquote. I hope they don't, play down to their competition. But all I know is they got to go in and they got to get a dub by any means necessary. Don't play down. beat them, play them like it's the last game of the season, like your season's on the line. Play them like you mean it, man. Play them like a legitimate threat at the end of the day.
Yep.
Here we go, Steelers, man. Steelers versus Browns. I want a dub. I want to beat the Browns because that's always a good time. But to get to 9-2 and get that mini bye before another Ohio game, I think that's a good way for the Steelers to kind of position themselves.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're going to get on out of here. We want to thank you guys for joining us again. Huge shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring with us this live stream. Check them out. Links in the description box. And check out the 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% on your next 2 deposits when you use the promo code U2150 when signing up at betus.com. Today, the betting lines are already up on the website. The props are already up on the betting on the website. Take advantage of some of those lines, man. Some of them are pretty low, and I favor a lot, especially the under and a lot of the rushing yardage. I think that's how the game's going to go.
That weather's going to play a factor, man.
So we'll see what happens, man. But at the end of the day, let's get a dub. Let's advance to 9-2. Let's beat 2 AFC North teams in the same week. And we'll see you guys Thursday night, man. So you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you guys in a couple nights, man. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!